Hello, this is Grace Shin from Korea Now. The United States returned 4 of its military bases in South Korea after years-long delay, with South Korea's temporary decision to pay for decontamination costs. The South Korean government had requested the return of U.S. bases amid rising health concerns of residents and plans to consolidate 2 U.S. bases in the garrisons of Pyeongtaek and Daegu against North Korea's growing nuclear threat. The U.S. has long been a strategic military partner to South Korea from September 1945. As could be seen with its dispatch of 320,000 troops to the south during the Korean War, the U.S. originally had 80 military bases in the peninsula to defend South Korea. Over the years, the U.S. returned 54 bases with the same reasons of environmental costs and new military strategies. Of the remaining 26 military bases, 4 were returned this week, marking the biggest return since 2015. The 4 bases were Camps Eagle and Long in Wonju, 130 kilometers east of Seoul, parcels of Camp Market in Bupyeong, just west of the capital, and Shia Range parcel at Camp Hovi in Dongducheon, just north of Seoul. Although these 4 bases had already been closed between 2009 and 2011, the 2 countries failed to find a middle ground to who would be responsible for the decontamination costs, which delayed the return process. Each of these bases were suffering from severe soil contamination with dioxin, PCBs, and other highly toxic carcinogens like oils and heavy metals. Such severe contamination was feared to cause potential health impacts on nearby residents and burden Korea with hefty cleanup costs. The financial burden especially arose with the United States Forces Korea's adamant stance on not being responsible for the decontamination costs. The USFK has been returning all U.S. bases in Korea without cleanup, citing that although they recognize the bases to be contaminated, the severity was not known, imminent, and of substantial endangerment to human health. After years-long delay, the 2 countries finally pulled through the return process at Wednesday's 200th Joint Committee meeting of the Status of Forces Agreement, held at Camp Humphreys when South Korea decided to temporarily pay for the decontamination costs. As of now, the South Korean government agreed to pay up to $92 million for decontamination efforts, but have emphasized that bilateral consultations on this issue will continue with the U.S. Seoul officials estimated the decontamination work will take up to 2 years. The 2 sides have also initiated the long-awaited return process for the Yongsan garrison in central Seoul, once home to the headquarters of the U.S. Forces Korea. USFK established its Yongsan headquarters in July 1957 after the end of the Korean War that prolonged from 1950 to 1953. U.S. troops first entered the peninsula in September 1945, less than a month after Korea was liberated from Japan's 36-year-long colonial occupation. Currently, the USFK maintains some 28,500 troops. But the troop level can drop below that number or swell to over 30,000 due to the presence of rotational units or training exercises. Until more updates, please subscribe to our channel. This is Grace Shin from Korea Now.